Welcome back to another episode of The Breakup Diet. Today we have a very exciting guest. We have Hannah Norburn here to join us.
Hi. Everyone knows Hannah from Maths, but we know her for being an all-around iconic baddie. Stop! Welcome to the pod.
Hello, I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
We have so much to ask you, so much to learn from you, because you are you've been through the ringer.
We went through the ringer. I mean, I decided to marry a stranger on telly, so we always knew that wasn't going to be the easiest thing I've ever done.
I mean, yeah, putting yourself in the deep end.
Yeah, there's one, I think everyone's like, oh, why'd you do it? And you're like, well, dating apps aren't working, so just why not? Hand me someone, just give me a man and say, here you go, marry me.
Buckle up, bitches. This is gonna get bumpy. This is the Breakup Diet.
But yeah, I didn't have the best time ever. It was hard. It was really tough. I think it was hands down probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my whole life. Like, I just didn't expect it to go as bad as it went. I think that was the hardest thing, because you go in so excited and so optimistic and so ready for it.
Yeah.
And then you get the complete opposite of what you expected. And I think that's the hardest bit, is I was so excited. And I think for me, it was just how misunderstood I was. Like, I'm very chatty. I can chat to anyone. Like, you need to shut me up at some point because I'll keep chatting. When I got out and said to my friends, everyone hated me and I made no friends. They were all like, what? That's not you. Like, you must have had such a weird time for them to be that against you and for me to feel that misunderstood. And I think that was the hardest thing for me, is like, I kept feeling like I had to justify my character.
So when you had those tough times, and obviously after when it came out and you had did you get some like negative
Oh my God, so much.
How do you deal with that? Because it's quite like, there's one thing being a strong person, and then that's hard. Like, if you're getting hundreds of messages or...
It is really tough. I think for a lot of people that troll you, they think to themselves, oh, it's just my comment. But when you're getting like 100 in 5 minutes, it is so intense. I really learned that I actually felt really sorry for people that troll me, because I'm like, you must hate your life so much that you want to like bring someone else down. Like, that's quite weird. I find it quite weird. The hardest thing is how much you get trolled for what you look like. Whereas like what you look like is just so irrelevant to the show. Like, it's not important. Yeah. It's not a part of the show. Like, I had people commenting and messaging me like, you're not even that great. And I'm like, but I never said I am. Like, I've never walked around saying I'm unreal. Like,
they thought you're great and they're just trying to put you down. I'm sorry,
so.
They're just projecting their insecurity big time. I'm sorry, you're obviously threatened. You're obviously rattled
100%.
by me.
I am actually also great. So like,
you are.
No, I think when it's trolling of your looks, I found that weird. And I think the weirdest one was like grown women that had like children in their profile pictures, like daughters and stuff. I'm like, you literally have daughters. Like, what example are you setting for your kids?
We had somebody else say this as well. That's so bizarre that it's like also other women
too.
It's
always women. Or the weird ones are like men that have like a wife in their profile picture. Like, that's weird. So I had one guy, because you start seeing the same name. So I had one guy and he was just relentless. Like, he was going for it. And then he had a wife in his profile picture, wedding day. So I replied and I said, I bet your wife's really proud of you. Next thing, the wife came in the comments, I actually am, you know. And I was like, you two are sat there in your living room. Like, guess what I've done? And I was like,
that's their foreplay.
Yeah.
That's their
No, it actually is.
They're fucking to you now.
Weird. No, it is weird. I do think, yeah, the trolling is weird. It's hard and it's weird
so
and it's
bizarre.
not.
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm
weird.
still caught on that.
They were obviously like sat in their living room like, oh my God, look what I've said. Like, haha, like buzzing off it. That's weird.
Hang on, let's stop this for a sec. Subscribe and follow The Breakup Diet. You don't want to miss another episode.
Did you have a massive growth period after the show? Because maybe if you felt like people didn't get on with you or whatever, did you sit back and be like, oh God, I need to...
100%. The person that walked into Married at First Sight and the person I am today are two completely different human beings, like completely different in the best way. I think a small part of me, and it sounds probably a bit arrogant, but a small part of me came out of it and was like, I actually really like myself and I'm actually really proud of how I came across and I'm proud of how I like stood my ground and I was so resilient and I kept going and kept trying. So there were bits of the show that made myself really proud of myself, and then there were other bits that I did need to hold my hands up to. Like, because I've got ADHD, I'm very reactive, so I'll just say what I'm thinking. So that was one thing I was like, I need to work on that. I need to work on my reactiveness. And also there was a big storyline in the show of me being like overly flirty with the boys. And I said a couple of times, like, I don't see boys and girls differently, and that rattled people. So I was like, okay, let me think about this. And I was like, I wouldn't flirt with anyone's boyfriend or anyone's husband. Like, I'm really close with all my friends' husbands. Like, they all trust me. Like, I love them all. But I think because I've been a PT for 10 years, I've been in a very male-dominated environment. So it's quite easy for me to make friends with boys. And just because they're a boy and they've got a penis, it doesn't mean I want to sleep with them. But I was like, do you know what? Other women aren't like that. So that is something that I need to kind of like learn and take on board a little bit. And I swear way too much. So I needed, like, watching yourself swear like a sailor on telly is like, yeah, don't do that, Han. Be classy. Come on. So that was something I've tried to change. I haven't actually succeeded with that one, but we'll try.
You haven't sworn once.
I'm trying so hard.
You're doing really well. You're so ladylike and demure right now. I'm obsessed.
I'm trying because I'm dressed like a classy bitch. There you go, Swan. There you go.
I have a question about you before you went on the mask, because I was watching it and you said that you had a really bad breakup that broke you. Like, is that one of the reasons you decided to go on it, or
no? My breakup was way before that. I think so. When you're in the casting process and when they're asking you all these questions, they want to know about all the things that have happened to you.
Yeah.
So they were like, how long have you been single? I'd actually been single for a long time, and then they were like, what about your most recent boyfriend? And I was like, he wasn't an official boyfriend, but I wouldn't have classed myself as single. But it wasn't a bad breakup, so they're like, okay, tell us about a bad one. Like, they want the bad one. So I was with a guy for 2.5 years. We lived together. We were very much like, we're going to be together. We're going to get married. We're going to have kids. All those conversations. And that was my first like proper heartbreak. That was my first like, wow, like I actually went on antidepressants. I'm not ashamed to say it. Like, I had 3 months of like in a hole, because I think also the older you get, the more you struggle with a breakup. I think that's a big one, because you're getting older. And I was sort of like 20, was I like 28? It was so long ago now. It was 2019. Yeah, so I was 28. So I think me being that little bit older and closer to my 30s, that hit me a little bit harder. And I think for me, it was the fact that, you know, when you're losing yourself by trying to put so much into someone else. That was the bit that kind of woke me up a little bit. And then, I mean, I can't believe I'm gonna say this publicly, but whatever. He then got a girlfriend like 8 weeks after we broke up, and then she was pregnant like 6 months after that. So that did really, like, that was hard, because it was like, you've gone and just found this girl and given her everything that I was like kind of wanting from you, and that was really tough. That was a really hard one to swallow.
I think it's always hard to see your ex move on with somebody, but then let alone like you introduce, like, they have a child together and stuff, it's a whole nother ball game.
So quickly as well. I think the intensity of it and how quick it was, while I was still kind of healing and getting over it, he was like, okay, yeah, next, on to the next. But then I also think that's a big thing with breakup, and I think you can really see out of the breakup who's doing the work and who's doing the healing, and who's like getting themselves back to normal, and who's just straight to bed with the next person.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big one. There's a quote, isn't there, that's like, look who glows up after a breakup, and they were the ones that weren't the problem. So I was like, yeah, if you're just jumping to the next relationship, you've just done no healing, no learning, no growing, whereas I learned so much, grew so much from it. And I think you almost need that rock bottom to kind of like, right, I'm not going to do that again. Because it was one of those relationships as well where we probably knew sort of in the first year that it wasn't going to work, but you just keep going and going and going. And I think that's one thing that I've really learned, is I will never stay longer than, like, your gut kicks in and you ignore it. And I think you learn that, don't you? Is like, next time your gut kicks in, don't ignore it. Like, just get up and go, because it's not going to change.
Yeah.
And I think people don't change at that age.
And it just gets worse, if anything. Like,
100%.
if the first 3 months is meant to be really, really good, if it's shit then, imagine how bad it's going to be after.
I always think of that when people are telling me they're having fights with like their new recent boyfriends or something, and like not just one or two, like a lot consistently,
100%.
and they're always like similar-ish problems that come up. I'm always like, you're meant to be in the honeymoon.
Literally.
Like, that should stay for like 6 months at least. Like,
my best mate at the minute, I'm not going to say her name, but she'll watch this and she'll be like, yeah, that's me. My best mate was dating this guy, and they were literally having arguments in the first couple of weeks, and I was like, babe, it's not meant to be this hard. You're not meant to be begging someone to see your worth in like month one. Like, no. And I was like, he was in his mid-30s. He's not going to change. Like, he is showing you who he is. He is waving red flags in your face and you think it's a carnival. Like, no, stop. Like, stop it. But it's so hard when you're in it, because you're just so... Do you know the new Perry song? And it's like, if you wanted to, we would, and we've all fallen for potential. Like, I think that's what we all do, is you fall for someone's potential and you think, oh, I'm going to be the one that's going to, like, sort him out and calm him down, and they never fucking calm down. So
don't fall for the fantasy.
Correct.
Look at the reality, because that is what it is. The fantasy is all bullshit.
100%.
I also think like people fall for the fantasy because they think like they make excuses for the time, like, oh, he's really busy with work because of this deal, but then he won't be then. So
there's
then
always a but. There's always a but.
You know?
There's always a reason for every bad behaviour and every shitty behaviour, and actually, no. And I think with partners as well, and I think this is maybe something I've learned over the last few years, like, I now don't tolerate shit from boys that I wouldn't tolerate like from my friends. Like if my friend gave me like a shitty attitude, pied me off, left me feeling confused, I wouldn't be friends with them. So why would I date someone that does that?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big one, is you just don't tolerate shitty behavior from anyone. So why? Because it's a boy. Because they dickmatize you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That is the realest thing in the world.
Also, I feel like when you like when you've been single for a while, maybe this is just me, but when I've been single for a while, I put up with less the longer the time goes, because you're like, oh, maybe I'm gonna like get left on the shelf, or you're like, oh, maybe it's me, or maybe I'm asking for too much, or I'm too picky, and so you let your boundaries a little bit slip, which I don't like.
I think the boundaries thing's really hard, isn't it? Because I think the older you get, I'm really 50-50 at the minute. I'm very like, I think this is the first time in my life I've never felt more just like comfortable in who I am. Like I really like myself. Like I don't think I've ever been more confident, ever been more happy, but also I've never been more ready to meet someone and settle. I'm thinking about kids, I'm thinking about all those big milestones that you want to live life with someone. So yeah, it's hard. It's like, am I being too picky? Do I need to like just settle? But then also like, I'm so happy I don't want to settle.
Babe, being picky will save your life. If you're with the wrong person, sorry, he might kill you. I'm sorry, the wrong partner will kill you. The wrong partner might hit you. Be picky.
Do you think it's scary to be alone? Which I know like that it is kind of scary when everybody is like this, but then it's more scary to be with the wrong person, because then your whole soul, your whole like way of you that makes you changes, and you get so like put down as well.
I think so. I think if you're happy as well, I think if you're happy and you're comfortable in who you are, but I think that's also where it kind of pisses me off a bit, because I feel like men think they want like the girl boss that's got her shit together and she's living life and they come and interrupt you, mess you up a bit, and then just leave you in the dirt. And it's like, sorry, I was fine before you came, so like leave me alone. If you're not gonna wife me off, leave me alone. Like I'm good. I also think I'm the kind of girl as well, like I don't crave attention. Like I don't need attention. I don't need to be sleeping with someone. My phone is dry and I'm actually fine with it. And I think that's the hard one as well, is like, should I be getting myself out there more and doing more? But also like, I'm really happy and I don't want someone
like, I don't want to disrupt the peace.
Yeah. Really like
we built such a nice, peaceful life, like with our confidence and everything. I'm like, I don't think I want to let anyone into my space.
But then he's not going to knock on my door and marry me. So where is it?
Yeah,
where are you? Where's my husband?
Yeah.
I would like a ring. That's the truth. And I think every breakup like builds an extra brick onto your wall, and your walls just get higher and higher and higher. And I think that's the hardest bit, is you've got to find someone that is willing to like unpack all your baggage, and there's a lot of bags in the boot.
Hopefully it'll be a billionaire. He'll have space for all my baggage.
Put it in the Porsche, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
How many breakups have you had?
Not that many. I've only had like my one really serious boyfriend, and then I was with a guy when I was about 18 that we were together for like a year, and I think it was that, you know, the whole 3 loves. I really believe in the 3 loves. So I've had the 2 and I'm waiting on the 3rd.
Same.
So
I've got the 2. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So where's the 3rd one? So the first one is obviously the one where you're like, you called it love, but now you're like, was it love? But actually it was what you thought love when you were 17, 18. We were like 18. And you said you loved each other, but it was a very different kind of love, but it was still a big part of it. That kind of just fizzled. Like we were just a bit like, I was a fresher. We were like, I was at uni. He was the year below me. I'm a bit of a cougar. I've always been a bit of a cougar. So that was always just like, oh, whatever. That kind of ended. And then my proper love lived together. That was a really hard one. That was like a mutual decision. I think we both mutually were like, this isn't working. And it was really tough. It was a really it was a really sad moment. And then I've had like situationships, 6 months here and there, that have always been hard. And I think even a situationship's hard because there's no closure and there's no sort of what's happened. Whereas at least with a proper breakup, I think when you've been with someone for long enough, you have that conversation of like, this is what's gone wrong. Yeah. Like I actually had a situationship not that long ago, like literally in the last few weeks, and just like ghosted the life out of me. Love bombed me, then ghosted me, and I was like, okay, cool, no worries.
Worse. That's honestly, that's
horrible.
Rough.
I'm sorry, that should be a jailable offense.
Just communicate. Communicate. Listen, I'm not feeling it. Okay, no worries.
Yeah, to leave it's so. Then you get left with so many questions, and like it's just.
I don't know what's harder.
No, I think that's really hard. Yeah,
maybe. Because then obviously you've got your friendships, and that's a breakup as well, isn't it? When you lose friends. And
that is gut-wrenching.
Yeah, they're really hard.
Because like friends, you think that they are going to be like your soulmates forever.
I was quite misunderstood when I was younger, and I think it's because of my ADHD. So I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until last year. Like when I got off the show, I was like, I need to go and get a diagnosis, because I think I'd have got a lot more, I'd have been a bit more understood if people knew that about me.
Yeah.
Throughout my 20s, I was a bit of a butterfly. I kind of like moved around. I had really good friends, but I didn't have like that real one or two like best mates, and I kind of drifted around a little bit, and I always just felt a little bit misunderstood, like I wasn't sure where I fitted. But it wasn't until like my mid-20s when I became a PT that I've now got this group of just the most incredible ride or die friends ever. And I think it's because I've got to that point in my life where like this is exactly who I am. So anyone that embraces that and wants to be friends with me, it's like because they just know that that's what they're getting. So I've not had a lot of big friendship breakups that have like broken my heart, because I also really believe in like people come and go. Yeah. And I think that is the best thing you can do with a breakup, is realize that actually not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. And if you look back on all your friendships, there was always a reason for that. Like I've always had friends when we've like both been single at the same time, so that was always like we needed that. Like I was obviously quite close with one of the girls on the show, and then we fell out, but it was like, but if I didn't have you on the show, and even to this, she's gone around disrespecting the life out of me, but that's not me, I'm not going to do it. I'm still so grateful, despite how appallingly she behaved after. I'm so grateful for the fact that I had you in the show, because I wouldn't have had anyone, so I'll still always hold on to that. So I do think that's a really good way to look at things, is like there's always a reason for that person that was in your life at that point.
That's such a beautiful perspective.
Yeah. Not to like carry it on, just be like, okay, no, we had a nice time then and now they're gone. Like,
it's not meant to be.
That's actually nice to think about it that way. It's hard to do though. That is good to do. That is
I'm quite savage. I can cut people off like if I need to, and I don't know if that's an age thing or I don't know, but I think I've got to a point in my life where I'm like, if you're draining me, I'm dreading seeing you, you're making me feel a certain way, like I'm gone, snip bye, off you go. Yeah, like, I can do that.
That's the way to be, to be honest. We should all be like that.
Because I also think let that person go, so then there's space for someone better. What's that saying? And it's like everyone's a tree, and it's like you've got your branches, your roots, and the leaves, and leaves like come and go through the seasons.
I've never heard this, but I'm invested.
Leaves come and go throughout the seasons, and they just come and they go, and that's fine. You've then got your branches that are really strong, but sometimes they do break. Some will stay, some will go, and then your roots are like will not leave you, hardcore, ride or die, like will always be there for you, and that's how you kind of go through your life.
I love that. I love that whole. Yeah, I've never heard that.
I love it. I love a good quote. I'm such a little hippie.
I love that.
Get it tattooed. Should we all get matching tattoos?
Yeah, please.
No, I'm not joining you there. I'll do a semi-permanent.
You're too cute. You're too cute for that. Yeah, I just think people come and go, and that's okay. Like it's okay. It's okay for that to happen.
That's something you've just learnt recently. You didn't always have this perspective, or you kind of did.
No, probably recently. Probably in the last, because I think. If someone said to me like what's the best way to deal with breakups or friendships or whatever, is like look back on every single thing that you thought you weren't going to survive, and you always survived it. Like you always survived it. And I think coming off maths, like I came off maths and I was a mess. Like I was traumatized. It absolutely ruined my life for months. It was horrible. I was like cried every day, and all my friends just like embraced me and just like loved me back to life, and they were like, we've got you, everything's going to be fine. But I remember getting out of this experience and just being like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what just happened? It was such a whirlwind. It was so hard. I then healed from it and then had to rewatch it. So then all those wounds opened back up. I then had to have all those wounds open back up while still getting trolled, while then seeing what everyone was saying about me behind my back on national telly, which I've never seen. I didn't know half the shit that was being said about me. I didn't know half the conversations that were being had. And I think it just made me realize that actually, like, you're okay. Like, you survived it and you're going to survive the next thing. And I think maths really changed my personality a little bit for the better, because I was like, look how fucking strong and resilient you are, and also you survived it, you'll survive the next thing, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I watched your season, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't have been able to, like, it really broke my heart.
I think the best thing for me, and the thing that I'll always be so proud of, is yes, I made mistakes, yes, I was gobby, yes, I swore a lot, yes, I had a bit of sass and a bit of attitude, but I was being bullied and ganged up on and yelled at and swore at and called these names, and I never, if you watch it, I never retaliated, I never called anyone a name, I never like went below the belt with people, I never got personal with people, because I just knew in my gut, I was like, that's not you, so don't be someone that isn't you just to retaliate. Like, so many people come up to me now on the street and they're like, why didn't you rip a hair out, why didn't you yell at? I'm like, because it's not me. That's not me as a person. I'm not a really confrontational gobby. Like, I am pretty gobby, that's bullshit, I'm the most gobby person ever, but I don't scream and shout and swear at people. Like, I can have a calm conversation. Even the girl from the honeymoon that was really reactive and gobby, I changed from the honeymoon to the reunion, for example, and I'd really learned that actually this random cretin that I've just married that's actually a weasel, you don't get that reaction from me, you don't get that energy from me anymore. Like, I'm not doing it.
Best thing, it's so hard to do, but if you really want to like annoy somebody else, is to just do nothing, like be so calm. It's so hard to do when you're like having people say nasty things or whatever, but like if you can just remain calm.
I think I kind of because I'm not even going to say people's names, but I was you're this, you're that, you're a slag, and then at one point she said to me, you called yourself a slag and you slept with bare lads in your ends. And I said, sorry, you think I said I've slept with bare lads in my ends? Like, that sentence did not come out of my mouth, did it?
Bare
like, it didn't. Yeah.
What does that mean? Like
just
a lot?
Like a hoe, yeah, like I'm a hoe. I was like, I didn't call myself a slag, and I didn't, like, that's, so I remember there was a lot of times that I was like, sorry, do you really think I said that? Because I didn't, did I? And that kind of, those little bits of her being like, oh, right, okay, oh, yeah, just staying calm, staying. And there was a lot of times as well that everyone was like, you've done this, you've done that. And I was like, but I haven't. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, but, and I was like, no, but I haven't done that. You've slept with so-and-so. No, I haven't slept with him. But I haven't. So, like, what? So I remained calm because the calmness was, you're wrong, like you're wrong,
and that's what rattled them up.
Yeah,
they knew they were wrong, they knew they were projecting. They're grown people at the end of the day, they know what they're doing. 100%. And you weren't giving them what they wanted. Reaction.
I think they wanted me to really bow down, be like, oh my god guys, I'm so sorry. There was this real pack mentality, there was this real like sheep mentality, and I think everyone wanted me to just like cower in the corner.
They wanted you to sink, babe.
I ain't doing it. I got on a boat and I shipped out of there. I'm good. Like,
period.
I am good.
So you've got such like high energy and confidence. How do you not shrink yourself in a relationship? Because
mental take.
Yeah, and like not dim your own light, because a lot of the time, like people that are very out there and stuff, that you see that happen over time.
Yeah, I do. I mean, mine's probably quite hard to dim because it is bright. Like, I am out there. I'm
superstar.
Such an intense gal. I think my longest relationship, the one that really hurt me, I think I probably was losing myself a little bit. And I think when you've gone through that, you promise yourself that that's not going to happen again. So I think that did embed into me a little bit. I've always said the number, you know, when all your friends are like, what are your non-negotiables? And it's like, oh, teeth and eyes and da-da-da. Yeah, that's all important. You need to fancy them. But for me, number one out of everything is I want someone to just be obsessed with exactly who I am and not try to change me and not try to quieten me down. Like, I love, it's like my friends are like, we love that you're out there, we love that you're fun, we love that you're the life and soul of the party, and we love that you send us 15 voice notes a day about just random shit in your life, and they love that about me. So it's, I think because I've found friends like that, I know that I'll be able to find a guy like that.
Easy.
And that's like non-negotiable to me, like non-negotiable. I think that's a big one. I think when you can feel yourself losing yourself, that's when you know it's not the right relationship, and that's when you know it's not the right one. Yeah. I probably did with my long-term relationship, probably. I could feel myself like, because he'd go out and get drunk and stay out till stupid o'clock in the morning. I was like, right, well, I'll stay at home on a Saturday night, and then you're going to come home to me. But then he never came home to me. So then all my friends were like, yeah, but then you're not going out, thinking he's going to come back, and he's still not coming back anyway. So I think those little habits that you start to realize, I think when you've been through that, you're like, no, that's not going to happen. Yeah. The second I can feel myself having to quieten down or do as I'm told or sit in the corner and stay home, then I'll be like, yeah, this isn't for me.
For sure.
Yeah, you're like, okay, he's not my person, I'm gonna move on.
I think for me as well, like my confidence and my high energy, like, is very much me. It's not a front. Like, I know a lot of people are like, I'm dead confident, but they're actually not. Like, yeah. I genuinely...
Lots of people.
Yeah. And I think I really am. Like, this is really who I am. Like, I'm really high energy. I've got raging ADHD. And yes, it comes with flaws, but a big part of it that I really embrace about myself is I'm so passionate. I'm such a lover girl. Like, I'm so loyal to my friends, and I'll do anything for anyone. But I do think the confidence in me is just who I am. So I think it is quite hard to get rid of that, because it's literally who I am, and it's not a front. Like, I genuinely think I'm great. Like, genuinely. And I think every woman
should think like that.
Think they're amazing.
Yeah.
And I think I knew that. Like, when I got cast for the show, I knew that I was going to rattle people because I'm so comfortable in my own skin, and I knew that was going to piss people off. But in the same breath, I was like, let me go on TV, and I want to show women that, like, you're allowed to be obsessed with yourself. You're allowed to think you're great. You're allowed to, obviously, don't be an asshole about it, but you're allowed to be like, I really like who I am, and take it or leave it.
Isn't it crazy? Like, the concept of self-love as a woman is so radical.
100%. And you shouldn't be like that.
No.
Of course you bloody should.
Like, you should love yourself. That should be like the bottom, like, bare minimum. Like, the love must start with you, and we're like shamed for that.
Has to. There was a bit on Married at First Sight that it was off camera, but it was basically what started mine and my husband's. I hate saying that. It was basically what started our downfall, and it never went in the edit. But basically, I was getting myself all hyped up to go and film. Bearing in mind, you're like in a foreign country with a stranger that you've never met. You're in a bikini. Like, I'm very body confident, but like, you're in a bikini in front of this guy, a whole camera crew. Yeah. And it's the most overwhelming. Like, nobody will know how hard that honeymoon is. Like, you are just stressed to your eyeballs. Yeah. You're tired. You don't sleep. You're getting pulled from pillar to post. And there was one point where I looked in the mirror and I was like, right, Han, you look unreal. Come on, you've got this. Everything's gonna be fine. You're okay. And I fully was like, come on, Hannah, woo. And then we got out. We then had the big argument on honeymoon on camera. And the thing that made me flip, you didn't see it, but the thing that made me flip, he said, you're obsessed with yourself. It's the Hannah show. I watched you stand in the mirror and tell yourself how incredible you are. And like, you're so self-centered. And I was like, whoa, hang on a minute. You've just twisted me hyping myself up that I think every girl should do before they leave the house into being like, you're self-centered, you're obsessed with yourself, and it's the Hannah show. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair to you, for you to manipulate something that I actually think every woman should do. And that's why I flipped the way I flipped, because I felt like he was just twisting everything I was doing into like, you're a bad person. Whereas actually, no, like, I love that I do that. I think every woman should do that when they leave the house.
You know, when I was younger, and I had really low self-confidence when I was younger, so I don't know if I spoke about it on. I had like an eating disorder and stuff, and then after it took years like to come back, I don't have anything now. But when I had that, I like therapists and stuff used to tell me that to write like you are enough, like you are great and all that. So hearing you say that before you went out in such a stressful environment, that's also totally new to you. I think that's amazing.
I think that's why, so in the edit of the honeymoon, it looked like I was just reacting and no one really understood what I was reacting to, and it was that. Yeah. And I'll own this now, and I remember looking at the camera crew and being like, you better put that in the edit, because so many women will relate to that, and and it didn't go in the edit, and I was actually really pissed off, because it looked like I just flipped my lid on nothing.
Yeah.
But it was the way that everything I was doing that I think is a positive. I think everybody should say, you're amazing, you're great, you're enough, So for someone to flip that into, you're self-centered, you're obsessed, like, no, that's not fair. That's why I lost my shit.
That's because he doesn't have the confidence. What happens is that when men aren't confident, they will leach off a confident woman.
I think so.
He's just outing himself to be an insecure little bitch.
I think
like no, but
put that in the sun.
It's gonna be on there. We're not taking this out of the edit.
No, I think so, and I think that became quite apparent. I think that was very clear. And then he gaslit the life out of me and created this whole storyline that just didn't exist, and was like, you were gonna do this, this, and this, and I was like, no, I wasn't.
Can I ask, in the midst of gaslighting, how do you stay sane?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I looked like a dickhead on telly. I didn't. I reacted so badly because I just was so fight or flight. I think gaslighting, there's a lot of these things, like, I think like narcissism, gaslighting, love bombing, I do feel like they're these kind of buzzwords that people just throw around, and I do think we need to be a bit careful how much we use them. However, I do think they are very real things that people really should be aware of. I think when you've actually been gaslit properly and you can look at it and see it, you're like, wow, okay, that was really real. Like, he ended up saying, oh, you were going to do this, this, and this. And I was like, no, I wasn't. But then because he told me so many times, he told all the cast, he told all the crew, and he kept saying it over and over and over again. I was like, oh shit, maybe I did. And then I'm sitting there at home with my friends watching the honeymoon on telly, and I was like, I know I didn't do it. Like, I know. And I remember sitting there and looking at my friends and being like, and I burst into tears because I was like, I knew I didn't say it. Like, I knew it. But he made me believe for months and months and months and months that I'd done it, and so much so that I was apologizing, I was crying, I was groveling, and I can't tell you this feeling of watching it and being like, I just knew I didn't say anything, I knew I didn't.
Yeah.
But he genuinely made me believe it. And then when we got into the show, he told the rest of the cast, he said, be careful, Hannah did this, this, and this, you need to be careful of her, she's a snake, she's like, don't trust her, nobody trust her. Yeah, so instantly everyone just hated me because he just put everyone against me, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. But yeah, I think gaslighting is one of the most toxic things you can do to someone, because you genuinely, in your heart, you genuinely start to believe what they're telling you,
and you become a bit crazy. You do become crazy because you are like, maybe I did, and then you're second guessing yourself, and you're like, but I didn't. But then it's
so hard, and then you're so like fight or flight, and you're so like shit, and then you're just overthinking everything else you're doing to make sure you're careful. And I think like it's really playing out on this season of Maths as well. I think Love Island as well, it played out a lot.
Oh yeah, like women's charities, like what do you call it? Was it women's shelter? Women's Aid had to make a statement about it because that's how bad it was.
I think the hard thing with Love Island, the only thing I will say with Love Island that I struggle with is they're so out of it. So I think for them to come back to the barrage, that must be really, really tough. Like, I actually felt a little bit sorry for like Harrison, for example, because I think how he behaved was shitty, but he's a 22-year-old lad. Like, every 22-year-old lad is a bit of a douchebag. He just happened to be a douchebag on telly. But I do feel like at least with Married at First Sight, you're watching it and you can kind of react to it in real time and you can really like process it and learn from it. So I do feel sorry for the Love Islanders to come out to that barrage. However, having said all of that, there was a lot of gaslighting, love bombing, a lot of that was playing out. Like even in this season now, do you think that's really hard to watch on telly when you want to scream at TV and be like, you didn't do it, we've seen that you've not done it? And I think, yeah, that's one of the hardest things I think of being on a show that's pre-recorded and then you come out and have to watch it back.
Just makes you like question the ethics and integrity of reality TV. Sorry, this is like such a random spin, but
no, there literally aren't any ethics. You're a puppet. Like you are a puppet.
It's because everyone likes to watch. No one wants to watch stuff that's just like happy, loved up couples, and that's it. Like there has to be
like how toxic are we as humans to like be attracted to drama?
Everyone loves it. Like I love it
too, and I'm just like, why?
Do you know what's the one thing with this season though that I do actually really rate? Because my season, the experts got a lot of stick for not calling us all out, but we all got called out. They just didn't put it in the edit for some reason. So I think Channel 4's listened to that this year. And actually, one thing I really, really rate about this season is the experts are calling them out, but they're also giving them very valuable advice. And I think that's one thing that MAFS really, if it carries on, I think it's dead. I think it needs to call it a day after this season, honestly. But I do think the benefit of MAFS, it should be the benefit of MAFS, is you're meant to sit there and relate to someone in that cast. The whole point of our cast is every single person is meant to relate to one of you because we're all so different walks of life, different shapes, sizes, colours, etc. And I think you're meant to really relate to someone that's so much so that you're learning from something that the experts are giving them advice to. You're like, oh, okay, I can learn from that. That's one thing that appealed to me about the show is like you're going to go and learn about yourself. You're going to learn about who you are as a person and also who you are as a partner. And I was so open to that experience of like learning how to be better. I didn't get any of that because I just cried for 2 weeks straight and then went home. But I think that's one thing they need to really work on with Married at First Sight is it's meant to be what can we all learn as a viewer that like, oh, I actually do that. So maybe I should try that. And it's meant to be like therapy that you can then learn from.
That's really important because otherwise we're just like rotting our brain cells with like people yelling at each other.
But we love it.
Yeah, no, we do.
I have one last question for you. So for somebody going through a breakup right now, they're right in the middle of it. What's one tip that you have for them to get through and see the light?
Okay, so I've probably said this already in this convo, but there's a few things I would say. Look back on all the things that you never thought you were going to survive, and you've survived every single one of them. So this isn't going to be any different. I do think that age-old saying of like time's a healer, 100%. And I think the hardest thing with breakups nowadays is probably social media, and you can see them all the time, whereas back in the day you broke up, you just didn't go to the local pub and you never saw them. So I do think a big part of it is out of sight, out of mind. Like block them, get rid of them. Even if you're like, oh, I don't want to block them because then they can see, give a shit. If that's what you need to do to heal, then go ahead. And I think surrounding yourself with the right people that you can tell the same story to over and over and over again until you're over it is huge. I think getting yourself out there with your friends, I think the rebounds never really work. I think they probably mess you up a little bit. Oh, but then the best way to get over someone is get under someone else. So maybe do that.
Context is everything.
Maybe, yeah. I think remember all the hobbies that you had and all the things that you used to do and go to your support system and just keep telling everyone what you need to tell them and how you're feeling and what's going on. And I think having that really good group of friends or family or support system is the best thing you can ever do. And you will survive it because we all did it. And the glow up is so real. The glow up is real. Yeah, exactly. The glow up is real. So just embrace the glow up. Go to the gym, get hot, get your glow up in, and then just like, fuck you, bye.
There we go.
Hannah Norburn, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming
Love
on.
That.